Hi, I'm Colin Shantz with Copper Tree Solutions, and today we're going to talk about backup and disaster recovery. How often you back up your system depends on your business goals and depends on the system that's in place. But a general rule of thumb is you should be backing up every hour or so for anything that's changing regularly, sometimes more often, depending what the solution is that you're backing up. Typically, we recommend doing a full backup on a fairly infrequent basis, maybe on a monthly basis, and then doing incremental backups from there. So every hour or so, we'll take a snapshot of the data, and it'll just back up the changes that happened since the last backup. So what that means is you can store a lot of changes without having a huge amount of data. It'll just store the differences from the last time. There's several different backup solutions available, several different architectures for your backup solution. And typical one means if you have on-premise servers, we'll typically back up from the production servers to a backup server, and then it'll get copied off-site to a cloud backup solution. There's lots of different options out there. If you have maybe a smaller system, or you have your servers strictly in the cloud, there's other options for backup at that point. Typically, we'll do a direct to cloud backup. So rather than copying from the production host to a backup host and then going to the cloud, it'll just copy directly from the production host to the cloud service that's used to back up your information. The number of backups you keep really depends on your business and your business goals. Most people like to have at least 30 days of backups so they can go back at any point in time and get a file as it was 30 days ago. There's some industries that are required by regulations to keep their information for at least 7 years. Lots of organizations, just from an accounting perspective, are required to do that. So it's good to have kind of historical archive data as well, where you can go back several years and get information from what it existed like back then. How long it takes to restore your backup is really dependent on what you're doing. If you're just looking to maybe find one specific file, you need a version of how it was 2 weeks ago, that can happen in a couple minutes. If you're doing a full disaster recovery, it can take a little bit longer to get back up and running. There's some systems that can get you up and running in the event of a hardware failure or something like that. You can be up and running in a matter of minutes. Some of them will take a couple hours to come back up and running. Typically, we sit down with our clients and try and figure out what your goals are as a business. How quickly do you need to be back up and running? And then we'll put an appropriate solution in place. It can range from a matter of minutes to several hours to get everything restored. Data loss often leads to business failure, or at the very least, severe business impact. I've spoken to several organizations that have experienced this, and nobody wants to do it again. It is a real painful memory when they talk about going through that process. And part of that is, sometimes if they're unable to get their data back at all, they might end up actually losing their business. I'm Colin Shantz with Copper Tree Solutions, and today we talked about backup and disaster recovery. And this is a pretty important topic to me personally, because a lot of our clients, when they first came to us, were unaware of the situation that they were in, and they thought everything was great, and it actually wasn't. Their backup solution may not have been functioning properly. It's a pretty common thing that we find. So if you're interested in finding a way to improve your backup and disaster recovery solution, visit us at coppertreesolutions.ca and we'll help you out.